live, I mean, for the whole world.
Okay.
So, welcome, world. This is Edward Bevilacqua, the publisher of Ciao Tutti, and member of the Italian American Club. And we are here this afternoon at Samba Latte, one of our new advertisers and supporters, with Chuck Salerno. Thank you for taking the time to come here, Chuck.
Thank you for having me. It's great.
And you were a little reluctant to do this.
Yeah, a little bit. I mean, the whole YouTube experience is always.
So it's a little bit new, and we don't have the best sound quality, and I didn't have the tripod. But anyway, we're going to make the most of it.
The coffee's great, though.
Yeah. Did you like the coffee?
Love the coffee.
So that is real Brazilian coffee.
Good.
So Chuck, let's just get started. What are your Italian roots?
Well, my mother's family came from Reggio, Calabria, and my father's family came from Sicily, from the Marsala area.
Okay.
Sicily.
And you grew up where?
I was born and raised in Chicago.
Okay.
And moved out here.
How many brothers and sisters?
I have both younger. I'm the oldest in the family.
Okay.
So I have a sister and a brother still in Chicago.
And you have an extended family there, right? Like you're saying uncles and...
Yeah, all of my family is still in Chicago.
Everybody's
Yeah.
you left. We're going to talk about life in a second. And so you were born and raised in Chicago, but I think earlier you said you've been here about 18 years?
About 18 years, yeah,
Okay.
97.
Okay. We're going to talk about that. And you're in the wine importing business, or is it alcohol importing?
We're in the wine importing business.
You don't do
We import.
limoncello?
No, we don't do any spirits. We just we're import Italian wine.
Okay, not grappa.
No problem.
Okay, 'cause that's distilled, right?
Yeah, that's a spirit. So you have to have different licensing within the country and different states. So we just stick with wine. That's what we do.
And you stick with Southern wine and spirits all the way?
We're pretty much aligned with Southern Wine Spirits all over the country, except for where they don't have locations. And
Are they in Chicago?
yes, and in fact, the house that's Southern Wine Spirits now was formerly Romano Brothers,
Oh,
and that's where I came from. Before coming to Prestige, I ran the fine wine company for Romano Brothers.
I see. Okay. Well, we're going to talk a little bit about that in a second. But growing up in Chicago, how was that?
Now that I don't live there, it was wonderful. I mean, growing up not only in Chicago, but growing up in pretty much the neighborhood I grew up in an Italian neighborhood.
Okay.
And
Where was that? What neighborhood?
I was born in the city in Chicago, but I grew up in Melrose Park, which is a little bit west of Chicago.
Okay. Is that out near the airport?
It's closer to the airport, yeah, directly west of the city.
Okay. And let's see, Loyola University is north, right?
Loyola University is north of the city,
Okay.
yeah.
All right. So, growing up in Chicago was normal for you. It was cold during the winter.
Yeah, but when you're there, you don't know any different. So you're basically, that's what you know, and that's what I thought I would always know. Yeah, I would travel or do something for business, but I never expected to leave Chicago at the time.
Okay. So earlier in the week, I interviewed an attorney, Mark Randazzi, and he grew up in Gloucester, Massachusetts,
Yeah.
fishing town.
Okay.
And I asked him, well, how was the weather? He said, well, you just dress appropriately.
Yeah.
It was like, what's the big problem? It's just during the winter it's cold, and during the summer it's you got bugs.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's the same in Chicago, right? Summer you have bugs.
It's the same thing. That's your environment, and you're used to it because you grew up there. And you just deal with it until you learn otherwise.
Now, how is it going to a football game when it's snowing?
Well, when you're in the liquor business, it's not
good. Okay. And let's see, your dad was in the liquor business.
My father was in the liquor business.
What about your grandfather who came over here?
My grandfather was not in the liquor business. He passed away very young. He was only 48 years old. And so my grandmother pretty much raised her 3 sons and her daughter.
And she wasn't in the liquor business?
No. She was a pretty much stay at home. mother at the time. I mean, her family was involved in the liquor industry. They had liquor stores,
Okay,
retail liquor stores, started in the tavern business,
I see.
and pretty much she was on the family payroll.
Okay, and so growing up, you said earlier, before we started, that your grandmother moved in with you, right?
Yes, I mean, so
Well,
she
she
was
moved
a
in with your
widow.
dad.
Right, so when my parents got married, my grandmother moved in with us.
What was her married name? Your wife's
Her-
maiden name?
My,
No, your
my wife's,
your
my mother's
your
maiden
mother's
name
maiden name.
was Pate.
Was what?
Pate, P-A-T-E.
Oh, okay. We have somebody in the club with that last name.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Oh,
I think they're from Chicago.
oh, okay. I don't know of anyone here.
I'll
that's-
find out. I'll find out who it is.
Yeah.
It's a new member. So so you grew up in an Italian household.
And then definitely an Italian household. Grandma woke up in the morning, went to the kitchen, and that was her position for the day. It was pretty much like a restaurant, whatever anybody wanted, or
Okay.
if someone would show up, one of her sons, that's what Grandma did.
Okay. And what were some of her specialties?
You know what? I still long for her calzone,
Oh, wow.
which she
Okay.
would make during Easter time.
Okay.
And that's something that, you know, very few of us are left that are even doing it. My sister still makes it, but
Okay.
you know, the next generation, I don't know if they'll keep those things up.
Well, Chuck, that's primarily why we do these videos, is because, it's Anthony Palmisano and Tony Sacca said, first you had Italians, then you had Italian Americans,
Right.
then now it's American Italians.
Right.
If we don't do something, it's just the Americans.
Right.
So having, I grew up, my grandmother and my grandparents were around, but my kids haven't had any direct experience with anybody from Italy,
Yeah.
unless we go to Italy.
Right.
And go see our family here now. So that's why we do these. And now let's see, your grandmother made dinner virtually every day.
She pretty much was in charge of the kitchen.
And did you learn to cook?
You know what? I did learn to cook. I mean, it would, and I think my learning to cook is kind of a combination of being in the wine business, being around restaurants, for a long time, watching how things were done, and having the chance to eat at some of the best restaurants in the country. But yet,
So
being
you
in
appreciate
the house with my grandmother, just by osmosis, you kind of learn how she did things. And
Now, how did you learn growing up to drink? Like when you were a little kid, did you have water with some wine in it?
No, I don't remember. My father was never a big drinker.
Oh, okay.
So even though he was in the liquor business, but yeah, there was wine around the house all the time.
Uh-huh.
They have dinner with
Jug of wine.
jug of wine on the table.
So my grandparents kept it on the floor.
Yeah,
It was
I
easier
mean
to
they,
grab.
they have it right there. There was always wine at dinner.
So I grew up where first we had water with a drop of wine.
Yeah,
Then more drops, and I think by the time I was in high school, it might have been 50-50. But we grew up that you don't drink to excess.
yeah, it's just part of your meal. I mean that was. I don't remember anyone sitting around just drinking to
It's not like
oblivion.
Armenians
Yeah.
drinking cognac. So kids that I knew were brought up, and it was like the forbidden fruit was drinking. So that of course makes you want more. You don't know how to drink, so then you drink to excess, and it's a totally
Yeah,
different
absolutely. And I mean, it was never denied to us. I mean, if we were sitting at the table and you wanted to taste the wine, you were more than welcome.
Now, what about when you went out to a restaurant? Was your dad trying to? Anybody saying, "Hey, try this wine" when you were a kid?
No, I really didn't start enjoying and learning about wines other than table wine that was around the house
Okay.
or we had for family functions. But I the interest in wine really came when I graduated school and went to work for my uncle's company.
Okay.
And he was an importer,
right,
and a distributor in Chicago.
And is it mainly Southern Italian wines or
Um,
every?
well, at that time, he imported wines from all over. So he had French wines,
Okay.
he had German wines, which were at the time very popular, and Italian wines. And so that's where my appreciation for wines really began, and tasting different wines and understanding about them.
And you started out at the bottom in the
Well,
wine business?
Yeah, pretty much at the bottom. I mean,
Like the warehouse
that's how family. I used to joke, and I still do, because his son, my first cousin, we still work together.
Oh.
We've spent our whole adult working careers
Really?
together. Yeah.
Is he out here?
No, he actually moved from Chicago to Orlando.
Oh, wow. So
So,
another
yeah.
big tourist, a lot of restaurants
Yeah,
area.
yeah.
Same products?
Well, we're with the same company.
Oh, okay, got
So
it.
he's
Terrific.
he runs the country. I decided to move out west, which I guess we'll get into. And a guy that worked for me in Chicago does the central part of the country.
Okay.
And that's kind of how we've split things up.
So let me ask you, when is the first time you came to Las Vegas? How old were you?
21.
21.
And I'm sure a lot of people did that.
Uh-huh.
Stayed at the Riviera Hotel.
Okay.
which
I
is
came
now-
out for my 21st birthday. So is that what was your 21st birthday?
Yeah, my parents. I came out with my parents, brought
Okay.
me and my cousin.
Oh,
We came out together. I turned 21 and got to spend a long weekend in Las Vegas.
I did the same thing. What year was that?
Oh, gosh. Uh, you know what? The math, I'd have to. I'm not even
What year
thinking.
were you born?
I was born in '57,
I
so
was born
we're
in
talking
57.
about.
What
Oh,
month?
okay. March 23rd.
Okay, so you're 6 months old. I was
Oh,
born in
okay.
September.
Wow, it
So I was
shows
out-
too. Like.
So I was out here in September. My hair's too short. So I came out here, I stayed at the Dunes
Okay.
for my 21st birthday. Drove out from San Diego.
Yeah.
And so you flew out for your birthday.
Flew out.
And what was your first, do you remember when you landed or what your first thoughts were when you got here and then when you saw it from the airplane?
I just thought, wow, this is in the middle of the desert. I had always been a big fan of Sinatra.
Okay.
I think that's just part of being Italian,
Uh-huh.
at least from Chicago Italian, and many from New York that I know. So as a kid, I would always watch Ocean's 11.
Okay.
I mean, it was something
Sure.
that we always watched. So to be able to see that and experience it for the first time, I thought, wow, this is going to be great.
And you had a good time.
Had a fantastic time, got in, checked into the hotel, went across the street, and I don't recall the name of the place, was Slot Country or something like that. And went in there, my cousin and I, we put a couple dollars in a slot machine, hit $100 and looked at each other like, this is the only way to go. This is too easy.
Yeah, right, too easy.
We were
Famous
broke
last
by the
words.
end of the
Yeah,
weekend.
famous last words. That happens to a lot of people.
I'm sure it does. It's a good lesson learned.
Yeah. So, so that was a good weekend. And did you vow like I'm going to go back whenever I can? Or?
Yeah, I always said that, it would be fun to go back, fun for a weekend, never envisioning that this would be a place to kind of settle down. And,
So when did the idea first come up as maybe moving?
well, as we were expanding our business and setting up distributors around the country, I began coming out here, meeting with Southern Wine Spirits and talking to them about bringing the wines over to Southern.
And you mainly deal with Mike Severino?
Not at the time. It was Mark Irvin.
Okay.
He
I
was
don't
still
know.
there, and he was kind of running the wine part of the.
Okay, so was this like 20 years ago?
Yes.
Oh, so this
Yeah.
is before
So,
Severino.
yeah. Well, Michael, I believe, was there.
Was he?
Yeah. Because not too shortly after that, when they did take in the wine, so me and Michael became quick friends.
Yeah.
So,
Okay.
and that's how it kind of began, the thought process. And my in-laws actually get retired out here.
Oh, So another good reason.
Yeah,
So
so
your wife
it
was
was,
into it.
yeah, and it
It was
all
leaving
came,
family was coming back.
right. So I was doing some business in California. I told her, why don't you come out with me, and then we'll head over to Vegas and surprise your parents.
Okay.
And that her birthday's in February. Her father and her had the same birthday,
February what?
19.
Okay.
So we came here, spent their birthdays together, and the weather was beautiful. And I said to myself, what am I doing? This is wonderful.
Still
Yeah,
there in Chicago?
it was frigid, and I thought, well, I'm in a position that I'm traveling anyway, and I don't necessarily have to be in an office any longer. Since I went to Prestige, we pretty much office out of our own homes and such. So I volunteered to go west.
Huh.
So
Okay, so speaking about Chicago winters, I've been there like 2 or 3 times when there's snow outside. So what do you do with your shoes? Do you just suck it up and you walk through the snow?
Yeah,
You don't put the rubber things on your shoes, right?
No, it's not cool.
Okay. Yeah, just checking.
You just try and clean the shoes and buy a new pair.
Like sometimes the guys got to do what guys
Yeah,
do.
it's just not cool.
Yeah. Now, what about women? Do they do the same thing, or do they have stylish?
Well, they have
with their high heels?
boots that kind of.
So is it like they take they wear
the
boots all
galoshes.
So they don't wear high heels through the snow.
No, I mean a lot of women will carry an extra pair of shoes with them.
Like
They
have an
wear
extra bag.
like something, and then they get to work or whatever,
Okay.
and then they'll change their shoes.
Is that a big deal back there, or is it just you don't think about it because it's just a part of everyday life?
Again, you don't think about it because it's just part of your everyday life.
And here, it really you put on your shoes in the morning. You don't think about it.
No.
You don't think about my shoes are going to get ruined.
No, not at all.
Okay. So you came out here. You live in Henderson now. You live probably 3 blocks from where I live. There's a school in between us.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. I am on the other side of Carnegie.
Oh, all right.
Okay.
I'm right over on the other, just on the other side.
Yeah, but you kind of have to snake through your place. It looked like I looked on the map. Henderson, where is this?
It's the estates, which is kind
Yeah.
of back in.
And you have a little roundabout there.
Yes,
right?
exactly.
So you go to the right around it, or you go to the left.
I go to the right.
Okay, and you wrap around this way. Okay,
Yeah.
got it. So, and is that where you originally moved, Henderson?
No, I lived at Legacy when I first moved.
Where's
out
that?
here. It's right off of Wigwam and Pebble. It kind of winds through the
Golf course?
the Legacy golf course.
Okay.
There's a number
I
of
guess I've
different
heard of it, yeah.
communities that are
Okay.
right on the golf course. So I live in there.
How do you like living in Henderson?
I like Henderson a
I
lot.
do too.
And I
It's more family. I think.
yeah, and
A lot
it's
of parks.
my in-laws had been out there, so we never really considered the other side. But it turns out, I just like the area better. I like the convenience to the airport as compared to being on the other side. I travel quite a bit,
Did you
so
go to California at all? Did you ever drive to California?
I usually fly into California.
So,
I've driven, but I'm normally for work. I fly in.
I
One of my
moved here
guys-
from San Diego, so about once a month I came towards San Diego, and it's just so much easier living in Henderson
Yeah.
than on the other side of Summerland or that other one. So, when you first moved here, was it traumatic at all? Did you did I make a mistake?
No,
Or is it
I never really felt that. I pretty much am a decisive person. So I made the decision to come, and I never looked back. I've become a desert rat. I can't even, when I go back, even during the holidays, possibly during Christmas, I look at my family, I go, what are you still thinking? Why are you still living here?
And why is it everybody doesn't move west?
I
I
don't
mean,
know.
I get it if you own your own business and you're successful.
Yeah, and
Okay, that's obvious,
there's a
but-
lot of
But
reasons
for the
why.
other people, is it just they don't want to leave the family and friends, people they grew up with, the old neighborhood?
Well, usually, I mean, when I was decided to move out here, my mother was still alive at the time. And, you know, we were looking for homes, and you know, Naperville, which is really west of the city, you know, the kind of family that we were, if you live 30 miles away from, you might as well be in Nevada because everybody lives in the same neighborhood.
Right.
You know,
You don't really travel.
yeah, if you can't be there in 5 minutes for coffee and cake, then you've moved away.
Well, do you find that here with people who live in Summerlin versus driving from Henderson to there?
You know what,
People think it's the other side.
yeah, people always say, oh, geez, all the way over there.
Yeah.
I mean, it's in reality, it's 20 minutes.
Exactly. It's nothing, and you've got multiple ways to get there.
Yeah, it's 20 minutes away, and you know, compared to some of the traffic in the larger cities,
Yeah.
we're spoiled in that sense.
Yeah. Well, again, I grew up in the Bay Area, and east of the Bay Area, a little town called Pleasanton.
Oh yeah,
You had to drive everywhere.
yeah, I'm up there all the time.
Oh, are you?
Yeah.
Okay. So we had a, Pleasanton in the 60s was like population 10,000 people.
Yeah.
So anywhere you wanted to go, you had to drive. And then I moved to Southern California, San Diego.
Yeah.
And it's not really a big deal driving 30 minutes. In fact, if it was less than 30 minutes, it was like 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Not a big deal. But, and how is the liquor business here? Is it what everybody says, like number one drinking city in the country?
I believe that it is. I mean, I think it's more particular to different brands. I mean, I know the wine business here is very good. You know, Southern Wine Spirits is a phenomenal distributor with, you know, reach into almost every location in this city. So, you know, it couldn't be with a better house. But at the same time, you know, we're a smaller importer within a large group.
Yeah.
So, you know, overall, I think business is good here. My business is okay here, and it looks like business is growing too. So,
What caliber restaurants are you?
it ranges from,
Like if I take out this magazine,
you know,
and if we start with this page,
you know, like a Ferraro's we would be in. Ferraro's, Rayo's, we've done business at Settebello,
okay, so that's
Sienna.
right. Do you go to Settebello's? Do you like?
Yeah, it's very close by. Yeah, I like it there.
I go there about once a week.
Yeah. So,
Okay.
you
What
know,
about Giada?
Giada, I don't have any wine in there right now.
Okay, but that's the caliber of place.
But it does, you know, we do over 1 million cases
Here?
in the States,
Okay.
in the United States. So, I mean,
That's a
we
lot,
have
right?
yeah, I think so. It's a range of the wines that we sell. So we sell wines that would be on a wine list for $150 a bottle.
So those wouldn't be a pizza.
Yeah, and then there's wines that we sell for wholesale at $6 a bottle.
Okay, so those
So
could be virtually every Metro
yeah,
pizza.
and they could be in a pizza place. They could be in the grocery stores. I mean,
Okay.
we
Trader
do
Joe's.
business with Trader Joe's. We do business with Costco.
Okay. So you cover pretty much the whole spectrum.
Yeah, both on and off premise.
Okay. And you like wine,
Yes, I like wine. Yeah,
and you think of it as food, right?
yeah. I mean, Grupo Corona, which is part of our company, we're part of that company. Yeah, it's an agricultural product. I mean, so wine is food.
Do you get back to Italy?
Yeah, I get back there. I'm usually back there a couple times a year,
Okay.
at least.
Now, when you're here, what Italian restaurants do you like to go to?
Oh, I don't know if I want to say that. That may limit myself there. I don't want to make any enemies, but there's some good places. I mean, I go to Gaetano's a lot because it's close by my house.
Uh-huh.
He's got really good food.
On Eastern, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay.
And it's just easier than going
How
down
about the one further up on Eastern on the left-hand side? just past the Smith Shopping Center, the Battalion or something like that.
Oh, Bride Talia.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Have
really
you
good.
been there?
That's Carla Pellegrino's place.
Oh, really?
And Carla Pellegrino was the head chef at Rails at one time, and now she
All
has
right.
the.
Okay, I did not
Yeah,
know that.
yeah.
Now, what about Tuscany Grill?
And we do business at Tuscany Grill, and those are kind of our little local
What about the pasta shop?
pasta shop too.
Okay. And what is, she's moved the place to Val Verde, but it used to be on Horizon Ridge. And,
Oh, yeah. Gosh, gourmet Italian, or
something like that.
yeah, something like that. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Those are kind of in the neighborhood, I should say. So, unless you get an opportunity to go down to the strip and eat with, scarpettas.
Yeah. Now, what about over at Green Valley Ranch? Have you gone to Pizza Rock yet?
Pizza Rock is, yeah. My nephew happens to be a manager at Pizza Rock.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay. So how did they start? Good.
They're
Every time I go by there, they're busy.
They're busy. I tried to go there last Friday night, and the line was out the door.
The first time I went there, which is the week they opened, same exact thing.
Yeah.
Get in. And so, have you been there yet?
Yes, I have. I mean, I was there for the grand opening. Like I said, my nephew is.
Now, what temperature pizza do you like?
They have a variety. So what's good about them is they have like a Chicago style pizza.
Did you try that?
Yeah, that's really good.
Is it Chicago style?
To a certain extent,
Sort of.
Yeah. Sort of.
It's okay. So let's see. I kind of think that the Chicago style pizza was like 750 degree oven, or maybe it's even lower temperature. It wasn't the 90.
Yeah, that's quick cook, small size. No, I mean it tends to be a little thicker than New York style pizza, and for me, the Chicago style pizza is a little thicker. If you ever had Rosati's pizza, the double dough.
I don't think I had the double dough.
So they have the double dough, and that is, I would consider more of a style that's Chicago.
Oh, really? Okay, so not the Settebello thin.
No, not like Settebello.
Now, I met you last Wednesday at the Italian American Club dinner with Larry Ruggeri speaking.
Yes.
And you were at Michael Severino's table.
Yes.
Right, Michael? And he told me when he introduced me to you that you donated the wines for the Italian American Scholarship.
Yes, for the dinner.
The lunch, yeah. And well, thank you for that. I'm on the vice president of the club, and I'm on the membership committee. So,
great.
What is the thing about those wines? How did you choose those?
I'll be very honest. Michael chose the wine.
He said,
you know what? It's Chuck. Would you be interested in doing this? I'm going to put those wines in there, and I said that's fine. Whatever Michael needs.
Well, we did a special page in the menu of the wine descriptions.
Oh, okay.
Wine description, white wine description, and then it was pasta, salad, dessert.
So we have our priorities.
Exactly. And they made very clear the wine was open on the table when we sat down. And that was kind of interesting because this is at 1:30 in the afternoon, and not a lot of people, Italians do, but not everybody there was Italian. And so it was kind of an interesting little observation of how it was.
Well, if Michael's involved, it's managed to the detail.
What's going to be done? Well, Michael's been good to the club. Larry's been around. It was great meeting you there and wanting to be a member of the club.
We talked about that, actually. And I had asked Michael, and he said that he received his card that night.
Yes.
So now that they've let him in, I'm sure,
I'll tell you, it was a tough call. We had to have a secret ballot. It was the first one. No, I'm kidding. There was no debate or discussion about it. But So Chuck, the magazine Ciao Tutti is here to do whatever you want.
Yeah.
Any way we can help you, you supply us with stuff. We send out 5,000, we print 5,000 magazines, distribute them all over the country, we send them to all the Italian American clubs. And we send out 1,300 electronic versions every week,
Okay.
an update. And anything we can do to support you. We're talking to Italian restaurants all the time. And I know that Michael Severino and everyone else is talking about your product.
Sure. So,
But it can't hurt, right?
no, and I appreciate that. I absolutely appreciate all the help that we can get, and vice versa. I mean, this is, that was the first time that I had an opportunity to be at the club, and it feels like home. I mean, there's that comfort level when you're there, and you share a lot of the same things that I grew up with. So I mean, to be able to understand that and be around it again, it feels good. So.
Yeah, that was kind of amazing how guy says, I'll give Larry $1,000, right, match, and then this guy says, well, I'll do 10.
Yeah, that was fantastic.
So, yeah, we have about 650 members in the club right now. Most are professionals or business owners. And there's that sense of, people grew up as Italian Americans or Italians. And so it does have a good feel. And then when you go to the restaurant, the club was the best Italian restaurant in Las Vegas this year. Did you know that?
No, I did not.
Review journal.
Oh, that's great.
And
that is really good.
It's not that we don't try to say we have the best Italian food, but it's the whole thing.
Atmosphere.
It's the atmosphere. You go in and it's like, who do I know that's in here?
Right, and the entertainment's there.
The entertainment.
So it's a great experience. I enjoyed that evening, and I'm going to be there.
Good. Well, we've got it on tape.
All right.
So, Chuck, thank you very much for taking the time to come see us here at Samba Latte. I'm glad you like the coffee.
Thank you so much.
And thank you, world, for being there.